Miss Universe 2025 just wrapped up in Thailand, but before we discuss who the winner was and all the controversy that surrounded it, let's play judge in this video. Let's discuss the top 5 question and answers, and then you decide who the real winner should have been. But if you are new here and are wondering who am I to rate contestants, let me introduce myself. I am Lekh Uthaiah. I am a former Miss India World State winner. I am the founder and pageant coach at ELEKHTRA. I am a model and a Bangalore-based influencer, and you are welcome to my YouTube channel. I have previously reviewed the question and answer of the top 10 Miss Universe India last year, which is linked here. I have also reviewed the opening statements of Femina Miss India contestants in 2024. If you are an aspirant, it will be like a free workshop for you. Oh, and from international pageants, I have also reviewed the Miss Cosmo that had its first edition. A lot of that is in this. Please go check it out. I will also link it in the description. Okay, as we start with the Q&A, here is the format. I will read out the question. We will play how the contestants answered, and then I will talk about what worked well for them, what could have been improved, and give you a glimpse of what an ideal answer according to me could have been. That will be your chance to pause and quickly take a screenshot, because I'm not going to be explaining the ideal answer too much. Okay, let's get reviewing. The question given to Miss Thailand was, if you were given the chance to speak in front of the United Nations General Assembly, what global issue would you talk about and why?
First of all, สวัสดีค่ะ Hello, hola. If I were to speak in front of the United Nations about the SDGs, I would choose women equality. Because I believe that all of us deserve respect, kindness, and same equality as other genders. And we deserve the same respect in the workplace as well as the same home. And I encourage you all to speak for your voice, raise your voice for women equality. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So here's what I think she did well. She, of course, started with a variety of greetings. She said hola, she said savadika, she said hello, which just automatically brought a sort of humanizing personality to her rather than straight away starting with an answer, which is a great thing. She tried to shift from a me to we. She, in the end, went ahead to still advocate for people that also should give voice to women equality, which gave a sort of like a leadership quality to her. Very nice to always turn the answer in the end towards what people can do and kind of give that leader vibes. And she did choose a pretty safe global issue, which is women equality. Where the answer fell short, a lot of repetitive words. I do say this to my students a lot. When you're writing down your answers, also have different keywords so you don't keep repeating. For example, in this, she said equality, equal, a lot of times, including the word respect. And in the 30-second answer, that's a lot. Also, there was a lack of the clear why. Why would she choose this issue was not explained at all. I'll tell you what. Every time you want to answer a why, it doesn't have to be very elaborate, but it should have some of the few things. It should have either a personal experience, it should have a global statistic, a concise solution, or it should have a perspective that only you can give. This is the ideal answer, which I think would have nailed it. You may take a screenshot. The next question was given to Miss Venezuela. In a world where cultural differences can separate people, how would you use your platform to promote empathy and understanding between different cultures? And to that, Miss Venezuela responded.
Thailand, thank you so much for your question. I thank God that I had been given the opportunity to live in different continents of this world. So I have a broad view of the different cultures and an understanding of how to have empathy with the people, how to communicate, and how to break those barriers of language. I believe that this platform gives us access to every corner of the world, and it teaches us that us as women with a voice and being a role model, it is our future, the children, the elder, the people that see us, that hear us, and we depend on making the difference. Thank you.
Here's what I think she did well, which Miss Thailand did not, was to use her personal experience. She immediately says, because I lived in different continents, I have a better understanding, which is great, you know. Judges, they love personal anchoring. She emphasized on 2 points. She emphasized on communication and she emphasized on breaking barriers, both of which is like a good direction. That's where an answer can be going with those keywords. Here's where I think her answer fell short. She used too many different words without stitching them together. She used used words like continents, culture, empathy, communication, women with a voice, children, elders, just without having a unity in that. So you understand how scattered the answer can sound if someone's trying to understand what she's trying to say. Again, there was no clear how would she use this platform to make sure that there is no barrier. Here is an ideal answer which I think with a good ending would have really killed it. The question to Cote d'Ivoire was, what emotional skill should be taught to every child in school and why? To which she answered,
Well, as a woman who has a foundation on education, I think it is important that we teach young girls to love themselves. That is why my slogan is assume your identity. Because if you love yourself, if you have confidence, you can walk into this world and you can shine. So I will urge every young man and every young woman to love yourself first. Be who you want to be and shine. Thank you so much.
love that. Did you hear like the applause with the audience? Like she really resonated, which is amazing, which is all you need to be a winner. You need to be able to touch the audiences who are listening to you at that point in time. I think she was the only person who answered the why. She locked in an answer. And I think this is the best way of answering a question. You lock your answer first so that your brain actually can then phrase out of it rather than going around the bush and then finding an answer. Her answer was self-love. What is the emotional skill? Self-love should be the one. The second thing she does is goes on to say why that would help, because if you love yourself, you in turn have confidence, and when you have confidence, it helps you shine out in the world. Great, her why is answered. Why should it be done? This is why. And another really smart thing she does is use her personal branding. A lot of these contestants do a lot of social work before they come there, and she does talk about what her advocacy is. She mentions her slogan, which is assume your identity, and she very seamlessly blends the whole answer in. She says love yourself, it'll help you shine too many times, but other than that I have no notes. I think her answer was brilliant. Next comes Miss Mexico or Miss Mexico, and her question was, in your perspective, what are the challenges of being a woman in 2025, and how would you use the title of Miss Universe to create a safe space for women around the world? See, separated into two questions. Number one, what is the challenge? Actually, they say challenges. The second one would be, what can you do to make sure you create a safe space for them? The answer to that she gave was,
As a woman, as Miss Universe, I will put my voice and the power in the service of others. Because nowadays, we are here to speak up, to make change, and have everything here. Because we are women, and the brave ones that stand up are the ones that will make history. Thank you.
I really do think she needed a translator because she ate up a lot of her words, and yeah, I think there was something off with her confidence. She seemed really nervous. What I do think she did well, though, is she did speak about, again, what she would do is, be of service to others, which is great. What she did not do is answer the question. The question very specifically asked her, what are the challenges that women face? No, none of it was answered. Forget challenges, not even a single challenge was answered. And she was also asked, how would she create a safe space? Like a lot of generic lines, don't you think? She said a lot of like, we are women, we should stand up, and like, it just had no depth or any substance. I think this would have been an ideal answer. I make ideal answers based off of what the contestant says, right? I'm not diverting and making something of my own. So even this answer seems worded weakly, unless it could be said with like a lot of power and a lot of strength. But yeah. The next question was to Miss Philippines, and it was that as a global ambassador and a citizen, what will your contribution be to humanity? To which she responded,
I want to be the hope of people. I come from a very poor background. I started pageants at 10 years old to put myself through school and to lift my family out of poverty. And if there's anything that I want to show the universe, I'm here right now. I'm standing as Miss Universe because I was able to get myself out of any situation because I was hardworking, I was persistent, and I fight for what I want. Thank you.
I love the cheers. It just really means that she touched the heart, right? Here's what I think she did well, which I think a lot of other people didn't do apart from Cote d'Ivoire. Again, a strong personal story. She straight up starts by saying that she comes from a very poor background and she started with pageants at the age of 10 to put her and lift her family up and put her through education, which instantly makes you connect. Like there's a storyline, like she's already started it. Poor background is very much like before you're born, that's your background. Then she talks about till the age of 10. So you automatically visually see her going up till 10 years old when she did her first pageant. You can visually see it, right? More than anything, she locks her answer in. She says that I want to be somebody of hope. Like when people look at me, I want them to think of hope. She does use good keywords like, that she's resilient, she's hardworking. It's very self-advocating, which is great. What I do think she could have improved is that she could have tied her story to a cause. Like in the end, the question basically asked ki, what would your contribution be to humanity? So she could have said it could be very well like education or like poverty reduction or like youth empowerment. But she could have mentioned something like that to end the answer. But other than that, I have no notes. I really like this contestant. I think she was pretty cool. Okay, we're at the middle of the video. We have finished the question and answers that the top 5 were asked by the judges, and we're going to move on to the common question and answer round. But up until now, put your judge's hat on. Do not overthink. Pause this video and tell me till now, who do you think is doing well? Like give me the first and second, like the first runner-up and the winner based on the answers till now. Down. I want to see it. The common question that was asked to all the 5 candidates, this was a headphone round, which means one answer could not be heard by the other 4. The question was that if you win Miss Universe tonight, how would you use this platform to empower young girls? Very common question. And there are different versions of it, but the purpose of why you're doing a certain pageant is always expected to be asked in the finale question, especially the common question and answer round. This was Thailand's answer.
I believe that everyone who has been through all the struggles, failures, anything in life, we can get back up. It's not about how you fail, but how you rise up. I would encourage you all to be your own hero, to light that light within yourself and light it on others. And if we come together, lift each other up, the world will be a much better place. And I encourage you all to never fear. I am standing here as your next Miss Universe, and I hope to be.
She was the home country, so obviously there was a lot of applause. What I really did like about what she said was there was a beautiful motivational message, right? And honestly, in the finale answer, you have to make sure that you are giving the audience what they want to hear. It doesn't necessarily have to be too technical, but it needs to touch the heart. So, talking about rising up after your struggles was quite inspiring. She says something, be your own hero. She uses that a lot, even when she was selected as a top 30. When they show the introduction of what they did, she does talk about hero. So she's again connecting to her personal brand. It's very nice to have your own personal branding wherever you think is possible. I do think could be improved that it was really generic. Don't you think so? And she never really said how she would empower the young girls as a Miss Universe. The how is always missing. They're just talking a little bit about themselves. A little language slip in the end. She does end up saying, and this is why I am your next Miss Universe. And then she ends up saying, I hope to be. So I think there was a little bit of an issue there. This is the ideal answer, which I think she would have nailed it with whatever she said. And now we move on to the next candidate, which is Miss Mexico.
Miss Universe, I will say to them, believe in the power of your authenticity. Believe in yourself. Your dreams matter. Your heart matter. And never let anyone make you doubt about your worth, because you're worth everything. And you are powerful. And your voice needs to be heard. Thank you.
She did have a clear, empowering message. She focused on saying that you should be authentic and your self-worth matters, and just good themes that are there for young girls. What could have been improved? There was no actionable plan. She did not speak about what she would do to empower them. And honestly, the whole answer just felt like a repetitive affirmation, right? These are things that you can probably find on your mug. Your dreams matter, your heart matters, never back down, speak your heart. Just none of them really connected to anything. And I think she really missed the opportunity to talk about her advocacy. That's the whole purpose of this question, right? When they ask you, what would you do to empower young girls? You are not just going to say affirmative things. What are you actually going to do when you become Miss Universe? So honestly, because her answers were so scattered, I do not have an ideal answer because I couldn't make one out of this. Moving on to the next candidate, which is Miss Philippines.
I work with an organization called Allen Academy, where we work with young people to provide them opportunities to make them realize that it doesn't matter what your life circumstances is, it doesn't define where you will go. And I want to continue working with Allen Academy in a bigger platform like Miss Universe to pursue making sure that people who come from low-income backgrounds are given the same opportunities as everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I love that she immediately mentioned her advocacy, right? She spoke that she's worked with Allen Academy and she wants to continue doing that on a larger platform like Miss Universe. She also mentions her target audience, which is people who are of the low income group, and that they should also be given the same opportunities as the other people around, right? And her alignment was really great. She didn't necessarily speak about young girls, but that's the beauty of having your own style of answering. It doesn't have to be too technical. What I do think is that she could have added a quote somewhere. When you're giving your finale answer, it cannot be like an interview question and answer, right? You are having a crowd around, so just a little bit of like a few quotes that you can keep in the back of your mind that you can use would have been really good. Here's like an ideal answer that I've written for her with like a nice quote towards the end. And I think that would have been pretty cool. The next candidate we have is Miss Venezuela.
I believe that education and communication go hand by hand to influence positive activity from the girls, from the children, for everyone that watches this platform. I'm standing here because with my life experiences, I've been able to become the person I've wanted to be. And this is the representation of a woman that's determined and with her conviction, she's reached her goal. And that is what I want all the girls to search for. Thank you, Thailand.
She's like super poised, right? She's super poised, she's super confident, even though the words that she says sometimes do not connect or flow with each other well. She says that with a lot of conviction, and honestly, that's the most important thing when you're answering it. Like, unless there's a coach like me who's dissecting it, what matters right then and there is how much the crowd is resonating with you. Did not answer the how whatsoever, like how would she make sure that she empowers young girls. She made herself as the example, which is great. You know, she said that I am somebody that I want the girls to look up to, but she did not go ahead and tell what she would do for them. Which is ideally what we're looking for from a queen, right? The ideal answer, which I made up for her, and I think she would have nailed this. Let's get to the final candidate, which is Cote d'Ivoire.
Young girls.
Well, as an ambassador and as Miss Universe, I would want to be the face of a representation of a new generation that mixes culture, that mixes modern and traditional. I want to be the face of a new era of women that are bold, that are leaders, that are unapologetic about who they are. If I'm Miss Universe, I want to be a role model for all the young girls and let them know that you too can make it. Go in those rooms where you think you don't belong, shine, and make sure you assume your identity.
She's so stunning. I mean, I love the styling they've done on her. Like, you can't help but just look at how she's glowing, you know? Like, that's really good styling, man. What she did well, I think her storytelling power is really, really great, better than everybody else. She starts with like, I want to be a woman who is modern yet traditional, you know, I'm a new era woman. And she uses words like identity, representation. These are incredible keywords, especially on a Miss Universe platform, because they themselves also advocate it. She directly addresses the girls, which is the question, which is great. So your brain doesn't wander as to what she's saying. Her confidence is incredible. She's super eloquent and she just looks like she owns the stage. Like, she's amazing at what she does. I do feel like the very phrase assume your identity kind of doesn't convert very well. Maybe it makes sense in her language, but here I feel like embrace your identity seems a little better, right? But having said that, just saying stuff like, you know, walk into rooms that you think you don't belong in and shine is really nice. I think it creates a good visual impact and it's very on brand with her. This is the ideal answer, which I think would be perfect. All right, it's time to comment. Who do you think should have won if it was specifically left to the question and answer? According to me, I think it would have been a really tough tie between Philippines and Cote d'Ivoire. Although it depends on what the organization was looking for that year. But if, it was me, I would choose Miss Philippines if I was looking for someone a lot more bubblier, a lot like who connects with the people and is very like the girl next door vibes. That's the queen I was looking for. I was trying to promote diversity. And then I would have chosen Cote d'Ivoire. Also, both of them are incredible speakers. Both of them would have been incredible spokespersons. We all know that the girl who won was Miss Mexico. And I watched this live. I was making these notes as I was watching it live. And like everybody else, I was just like, what? Like, wait, what? This judge who had, stepped back. But he has gone on and made like an HBO documentary where he talks about how Miss Universe was rigged and how the director was favoring Miss Mexico because they had like a deal with Miss Mexico's father, and it's gonna be like a oil thing, and there are riots in Mexico, and they wanted to cover that news by making her win. And the Miss Universe director is now gonna get a share. Yeah, I'm actually gonna tag his Instagram handle. You can go have a look at everything that he said. It's quite jarring and it's kind of unfortunate. And I don't think this year's pageant could catch a break. Like Miss Jamaica had a terrible fall during her prelims, which is really sad. And then 2 of the judges resigned. One of them has gone out and like really bashed the organization. And yeah, I don't think it's a very happy win for Mexico because it's come with a lot of backlash. If you have to ask me what my opinion is, it's as sad as it is, pageants are business, and whether you win or whether you lose, of course, you have to give it your 110%. I think every contestant, especially on an international platform, does that. And her entire team behind her is also hoping that there is a fair selection process. But what I know from pageants and what we are all seeing publicly happen is that you need to make sure that you use that crown or that title, make sure you land interviews, make sure you promote yourself after the pageant or the international pageant is over. Make the crown work for you, not the other way around. I know I did that, which is why I have thousands and thousands of you watching. Thank you so much. If you watched till the end, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.